Hey everybody, it's Matt with Gardens of Babylon here today to talk to you a little bit about houseplants. Get a lot of questions about from customers here at the store about their houseplants, how to take care of them. Some of them aren't looking as good as they really want them to. Some are really happy they want to do another room with houseplants. So they have a lot of questions when it comes to houseplants. And again, they can be really quite easy if you just pay attention to certain key elements in the world of interior growing. What I'm going to talk to you about is how to choose the right plant for your home. When you go about, say you want a house plant for a certain particular room, the best thing to do is not to walk in and just start saying, man, I love that one, that plant's got to work. Really the key thing here is finding the space that you want to be putting a house plant into and finding out the light conditions that exist in that particular room. Is it really low light? Does it get any direct sunlight coming through a window? Is it moderate light? Is it high light? Is it south facing? Most southeast, southwest, and south facing rooms are very high light, and so you can choose plants that are medium to high light in those areas. And so you really want to go into it knowing where you're going to be putting your house plants. You can maybe go online and search for some low light, some medium light, and some high light style plants. Maybe see some pictures and have kind of a shopping list before you go in, or have some preferences. That's always key, because you really want to fit the right plant for the right location to really start on a good foot in successful houseplant growing. After that, come down, pick out some of the houseplants that fit your light requirements, and then after that, you most likely want to go ahead and get it potted up into a larger container. Doesn't have to be very much larger than the pot that it's in. Some people make the mistake of taking like a 6-inch pot like this and bumping it up to a 12 or 16-inch pot. That's just a little too much soil. Soil won't really tend to dry out all that quickly, and you can lead to killing your plant by overwatering it. Ideally, you want to take a 6-inch pot either to a 8-inch or at most maybe a 10-inch container when you're doing your potting up to ensure good success. When potting up, some of my favorite things to mix into that new potting soil, and it's really key because that's the potting soil that's going to be sustaining and allowing your plant to thrive for the next 1, 2, even 3 years. So you really want to make sure you're spending the right amount of money and getting the right amount of quality nutrients for your plant. What that really consists of is a couple things. Most of your typical potting soils, your light I call them peat moss based. They have the white particles in it. That's perlite. Good drainage. That's a good foundation for your potting soil. With my houseplants, I'll usually tend to mix in a little bit of a compost in it. Worm castings, in my opinion, tends to be the best for it. Just get a little bit of compost, helps the microbial populations exist in the new potting soil, and then I'll tend to add a little bit of a slow release organic fertilizer. Organic fertilizers tend to have a little bit more micronutrients in them, and that's really what houseplants really like. They're not really super duper heavy feeders in the nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, but the micronutrients they really do like. And a lot of organic fertilizers, if you look on the bag, are really good in micronutrients. And then to that, you can add just a little bit of sand if you got it. Houseplants really love drainage, and by adding a little bit of sand in it, just helps everything to kind of drain really well, and they really love it. So once you go ahead, you get all that together, mix that up into your new pot. Plant the house plant again with the top of that soil pretty much exactly into the top of the other new pot. You don't really want to plant this crown too deep into the pot. It'll lead to kind of a crown or base rot. And once you get that planted, just go ahead and water it in really, really well. And once you get it potted up in a new container with new soil like that, you don't really have to water it. We have a lot of people saying they water it every couple days or once a week. A lot of times that's too much. Houseplants really like to dry out in between waterings to really allow that oxygen to build up in that soil and those roots to breathe a little bit. So really, in my experience, once you get it potted up into a larger container, I'm only really having to water my plants anywhere between once every 2 to 4 weeks, really, and so it can be really easy. A lot of times the famous phrase is you can kill a houseplant with kindness, just because you're watering, you're paying too much attention to it, and really they don't mind just drying out a little bit in between waterings. If you're unsure in the beginning, just go ahead and reach your finger down into the top of that soil, about 1 to 2 inches deep. If you pull out your finger and it's still kind of moist down on your fingertip, just maybe wait a couple more days, maybe another half week to a week. But remembering the keys to success with houseplants, it's choosing the right plant for the light conditions that you have in your home. Next step would just be having a good quality, well-drained potting soil. And then the last thing is just letting your houseplant soil dry a little bit in between waterings. And that's really about it. Those three things are really the major elements in growing a successful houseplant. Once again, this is Matt with Gardens of Babylon. For more information, feel free to check out our website at www.gardensofbabylon.com. Take care.